All right, Patrick Saunders, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, how are you this morning?
I'm well. Patrick, before you start, you guys are probably wondering what hat I'm wearing. This is a hat from Metro State University, the Roadrunners. I'm wearing the blue hat today. I just want to thank them again for allowing us to use their facility over there. We've got a couple days of good work over there. We're going to run some guys over there again today and tomorrow. It's been it's been advantageous for us to have another field to use. So anyhow, that's why I'm wearing this lid. Okay, Patrick, fire away.
That's awesome. The Roadrunners. Awesome. I think you're probably going to get sick of us asking the daily questions, housekeeping questions, but since we don't have clubhouse access, we're probably going to have to do this a lot. Can you give us any updates on any players that might be out for whatever reason at this point, or do you have a full squad right now outside of Charlie?
I can't give you any updates, but no updates on Charlie. But I like where our guys are at, Patrick. We're doing well. So, and I don't mind the daily questions. I know that I know they're coming, so don't feel as though I'm bothered by that.
Okay. I saw today that the Braves might start their simulated inter-squad games as soon as July 8th, which would be Wednesday. Do you guys have any timeline yet on when you're going to start doing those types of things?
I think, everybody calls these things different names. But today, Marquez and Sensatella and Freeland are going to face some of our hitters. We're going to do the same tomorrow with 6 pitchers facing a lot of our hitters. So we'll be doing a lot of the things that you see in the early parts of spring training down in what we do in Scottsdale, and then we'll transition into some more game-like activities in the coming days. Probably maybe by the end of the week you might see some of that for sure.
Excellent. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
All right, Thomas Arden, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. First of all, nice hat. I do enjoy the Roadrunners. Secondly, where do you stand as far as, and I think you touched on it the other day mentioning Chichi Gonzalez and Jeff Hoffman for that 5th starter spot. But when you look at that kind of continuum of 5th starter and long relief, who are some of the other guys that are in that mix right now, at least to when you start the season later this month?
Well, those two guys are able to provide length for sure. I'm not sure what the schedule is going to look like when we start the season, but those two guys can, give us length for sure if they're not starting the game and we happen to need them in the bullpen. Besides those two fellas, I think there's a number of guys who can get, more than 3 outs that we have here. But those two guys, I think, sort of stand out the most. Peter, even though he's a little bit behind, he'll be able to provide that if he's on our roster. Ashton Goudeau, who's working out here, I think he'll be able to provide that. Ryan Castellani can give us length. So probably those guys, Goudeau, Castellani, Lambert, on top of, Chi-Chi and Jeff. If none of those guys are in the rotation, and those guys are part of the pitching staff, can give us multiple innings for sure.
Is Ryan Rollison kind of in that mix? I know it's relatively early in his career, but he's a talented guy. Is he in that mix at the start?
He's here.
Later?
I think that with Ryan, I think we wanted him here so we could put our eyes on him and make sure that, he's progressing. I probably wouldn't put him, in the same mix with those other fellas. But, we like, we like the arm, just like you said, he's talented. We like the arm. We want to, we want him here to, continue to, get his work in. So this season is not one that, he hasn't thrown and hasn't worked with our big league staff and been around our players.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Nick Rowe, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. Just to clarify from earlier, so do you have 51 players, everybody except Charlie, gone through intake testing? Is everybody at Coors Field now?
Yeah, I think everybody has taken a test somewhere, whether it's in Arizona, that has been what's the word I'm looking for? It's been MLB stamped. So, but yeah, everybody, I think, everybody's good here in Denver, except Chuck.
Okay, and Deal and Castellani, obviously too. Just to clarify for doubling down, they went through everything and everything is okay, and they are okay, and their pitching and everything is fine with them.
Yes.
Okay.
They're both. If you come out today and look out to the bullpens, you'll see them throwing.
Okay.
And if you were over at Metro State yesterday, you would have saw them doing some pitchers fielding practice over there. Yes, so they're here.
Okay. I don't mean to belabor this just because I believe you when you said it the other day. I don't disbelieve
That's
you.
fine.
Just the MLB, some things that MLB says are a little unclear. So
Hey, I'm with you.
yeah. So they were included on whatever testing was submitted to the league is what
Yes,
I mean.
They're fine.
Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, Kevin Henry.
Hey, buddy, when Arizona shut down, Brendan Rodgers was just getting back in the field. And I know you and I talked a little bit about his progression during the hiatus. What are you seeing with your own eyes now about Brendan and how he's looking?
Yeah, he's moving great. The arm feels good. We're concerned about the arm, right, coming back from the surgery, but he's had some good workouts here. I know that, through spring training 1, he was progressing. I know Keith was, working real hard with him on a daily basis to strengthen the shoulder and making sure that, he hit the medical markers to progress. And now he's full go. If you talk to Brendan, he'll tell you he's ready. I think Keith and the medical guys feel the same. But he's looked great. He's moving around well. He's swinging the bat well. There's no apprehension or tentativeness as it relates to the shoulder. So, he's good to go. And I think that's how we're viewing that he's, he's vying for a position on the when we start on the 30-man roster.
Thank you.
Okay, Tracy Ringlesby, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, just to clarify something, you guys put some players optioned them out earlier before the roster came out. Are those players, they're here working out? Are they in the running to be with among the, was it 30 players you're going to open the season with or whatever number? Or are they just here working out with you?
No, I think anybody who's here is eligible to make the 30-man roster.
Okay.
I think there's a couple players who've been optioned out that will be part of the group that is what we'll call our satellite situation, who when, we break here and start the season, the guys who don't make the team here, who are here, will go to that satellite group. And there's another handful of players who are meeting that satellite group right about when our season starts.
Thank you, sir.
Patrick Saunders, go ahead.
Buddy, I have a question regarding two players, Hampson and Owings. Are you still looking at those guys as possibly both second base and outfield at this point?
I think we're looking at second base, shortstop, outfield, and Owings has played just marginally at first base. He can go over there in emergency. You know, we have some first basemen, right, with Mac and Murph. Owings, we feel, is versatile and talented enough to go over there in a pinch if we need them. But I primarily see those two fellas as, you know, middle infield options and outfield options all the way across the board. So, again, it goes to their versatility, their flexibility, and it gives us, you know, a great opportunity to mix and match. As you guys know, we've talked about days off, certain starters, you know, those types of things that those guys, those types of talent proves invaluable.
In regard to Brendan Rodgers, at this point, is second base the most likely primary position for Brendan? Or you
know, his natural position is shortstop. If you ask Brendan, he feels most comfortable at short. But I'm sure if you also ask him, he'll tell you, Patrick, I feel comfortable at second too. We'll give him a lot of reps at second, you know, a lot of ground ball work, you know, whatever we can do to get him as comfortable at second base as he is at shortstop.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, we'll take the 4 remaining questions we got. Go ahead, Patrick Lyons.
Morning, buddy.
Morning.
I know Alexander Guillen was one of the guys who came in from the Dominican Republic. Will we see him at the stadium today? And same thing, Elias Diaz.
Yeah, I think with, you know, all those guys, there were some hang-ups with some travel. You know, some of the guys, you know, they were hung up, you know, for whatever reason. You know, a lot of times I don't dig into why they were hung up. You know, my questions are, you know, to, you know, our people, when are they coming? And I think Guillen is en route. I believe, to your point, Elias is en route. You know, after that, they're clearing some hurdles that a lot of players across the league have had to clear.
Thank you, buddy.
And I think you can throw Antonio Santos into that mix as well.
Thank you, buddy.
Yes.
Thomas Starting, go ahead.
Yeah, buddy. I've got a couple of things. First, some of the injured guys that were in original spring training, Ben Bowden, Tyler Nevin, I saw him in the cage yesterday, and Eric Stamets. Are they full go or any of them kind of backed up a bit? Then I have another question after that one.
Yeah, Ben, a little bit backed up, you know, working through some things. You know, we're glad that he's here, so that tells you that he's able to, you know, perform some activities. But, you know, he's well behind. But we wanted to get our eyes on him and get our medical people here with him as he works through this back issue. Stamets, good to go. He's fine. Tyler Nevin, good to go. He's fine.
Okay, and just to get back here, watch you guys take infield. Did you kind of step back a bit and enjoy Nolan Arenado playing some third base for you yesterday?
Oh my gosh! I mean, what a treat that is to watch that group work. You know, Doug Bernier and I were, you know, sort of standing next to each other, and you know, Doug saw it in spring training one for the first time. You know how those guys work and how they take an infield and how they take ground balls. It's really, really fun to watch. I mean, it really is. I just, you know, it puts a smile on my face to watch, you know, that group. And Nolan now, I mean, just, you know, he continues to work. He continues to get better, you know, just in so many areas. And Trevor now is right there side by side. And now you see Mac elevated to that level of work and energy, you know, during practice. It's cool. And Murph was having fun yesterday too. You know, I mean, this is a time where we all get to get back into baseball shape. You know, these guys have been out of it now for, you know, a number of months, and they got to get back on their feet, get their spikes on, get in dirt. And, you know, yesterday was a standard of practice that we all like to see. It was really, really cool. So I'm glad you were able to witness that, and thank you for commenting on that. And it's something that we talk to our guys about all the time.
All right, Nick Grote, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. After Chichi and Hoffman at the back of the rotation, who sort of lines up as possible starting pitching depth? I'm gonna guess you're gonna list every single pitcher on your roster, but like who's realistic?
Ashley Goudeau, Ryan Castellani, and Peter Lambert.
Okay,
Jose
you
Mujica, Antonio Santos. We got to put our eyes on them. That group of players.
okay, and Lambert
and Ryan Rollinson.
Okay, Lambert. Even though he's a little bit behind, he's not so far behind that you're discounting his availability of it.
It is, what's the date today? The what? July 5th. The season goes to September 27th.
Right, gotcha. And then whoever sort of takes over the long arm role, like how, in a shorter season, is it more permanent sort of? Are you going to be able to move people in and out of the rotation from that spot? Do you know what I mean?
Well, here's the deal. You would like not to move anybody in and out of the rotation. You'd like to have what you view as your best 5 guys or 4 or 5 guys and have them not miss a start. That's ideal. So you wouldn't have to move guys in and out of the rotation based on performance or injury. But if we have to, we will.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Tracy Reynoldsby, you have the last question.
It's starting to sound like Hauser, but we'll move on from that. When you talk about the fact of a 60-game schedule, does that make off days less important for your everyday players? I mean, you're not worried about saving them for the second half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, yes, right? Because, guys will be, I think, mentally ready to play a lot, but there might be, a stretch of games where they're playing, whether it's, 8, 9, 10, 12 games in a row where they need a break. There'll be day game after night game situations where it will benefit a player to not start. So, but in theory, yes, but it might make sense for the player and the team to not start a game. And again, you gotta be cognizant of the fact that you need contributors all throughout the roster, and those guys will need to play too to stay sharp. And when they're asked to contribute, they have a shot to contribute because they've played. So, but you'll see. I mean, obviously there'll be players in the league who play 60 games, and there'll be a number of players if they stay healthy and perform. Some of the bigger boys, you'll see 55 to 60 games for sure. But also, I think you need to use your bench. You got to use your bench players, and that's going to be important because those guys are going to have to contribute too. And again, with the DH now in play, you can get guys off their feet, on defense, which will help. Trace, I don't know what the schedule looks like and where the days off fall. But I can only imagine that there's probably some long stretches of games, probably 15 to 20 games in a row. It's at some points in the 60 games schedule. So we'll monitor that. But to your initial point, I don't want to be redundant, but in theory, that does make sense. And I think, let me finish on the component now. Because they're not getting conditioned normally as they would in spring training. The buildup of innings and at-bats and games, the 30 games we play in spring training, to get truly ready to play. We'll have to watch that, whether those guys are ready to go. I mean, they'll be ready to play 9 innings, but how many games in a row before they get tired because they haven't done it, right? I mean, we're going to play some inter-squad games, which, we're going to try to make them, as intense as possible. The players understand that. They're talking about that. But we won't know how they're doing once we get into the season as far as true baseball conditioning and game shape and stamina to play 9 innings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Thanks, everyone else.
Okay,
We'll
guys.
do on
Thanks.
later.
Go Road Runners.